Jonathan Toews to the Edmonton Oilers just makes so much sense. It hurts. Yes, it's a perfect match. Thank you for that, Aaron. It's perfect, man. The veteran centerman who's won Stanley Cups, the storyline of him coming in and like, it just feels so classic Ken Holland, NHL. Like, this guy teaches McDavid Draisaitl. He pushes them over the hump. I think that narrative would be tired out and lame, but I could just see it all happening. This guy helps you win draws. This guy helps you on the PK. This guy's a good defensive centerman. I think he is a dream fit. I would go hard after him.
I would too, and especially the value that's been circled around him being only maybe a second-round pick. You get another team in, it's a third or a fourth. Like, it just kind of adds up for the perfect value player to help this team. He's obviously a veteran who's won 3 Stanley Cups. How many gold medals did he have? 2? Why would you not want that guy? He scored the other day against the Oilers too.
Yep. And how about this? Here's how everything works out perfectly.
All right. How could this go wrong?
To Chicago, you give a second-round pick for Jonathan Toews.
Okay.
It's a decent return for them. I actually have a feeling they might not get a lot more. I think his illness is kind of quieting a lot of the trade talk around him, maybe hurting his value. But you're giving up a second. Maybe you throw in a small piece in there too. Okay. But before you get Toews, they send him to Arizona.
Ooh.
They keep a chunk of money and give you a retained Shane Goss to spare.
Well, interesting.
Why not? Just a quick break. You guys are speculating in the chat that maybe Ken Holland forgot to waive Jesse Puljujarvi today.
I mean, it's always an option. You never know.
He's sitting there. He's like 11:55. He's like, what did I have to do? He's like, got the dry cleaning, went to the rink for morning skate. What else? And he's like, well, whatever. All right.
All of a sudden, he just bursts out of his seat over lunch. He's like, I forgot to do it. He did forget to sign that one prospect.
That was like always kind of the fun rumor, but yeah. All right, Jonathan Toews have come to the Oilers. The next batch of 5, we start with Jake McCabe, who the LA Kings will miss out on Jacob Chychrun, and they will not want to miss out on anyone else. I think they go get Jake McCabe. He's got that no-trade clause that's probably going to prevent him from going to most of the Canadian teams. We've kind of heard Toronto is the only one he's open to, but I'm going to say that won't even be an issue. The Hawks flip him to the LA Kings, and they get back not only a pick, but one of those righties in the Kings system, like a Sean Walker.
Do you think the Kings will then overpay for Jake McCabe if they miss out on Chychrun, just so they don't miss out on both?
It makes sense to me as a guy who, again, he's pretty young. He could still grow along with your core. It's not going to take too much to get him, and the Kings have some right shot pieces they can move off for picks or maybe in the deal, and they'll view McCabe as a clear upgrade. I like that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Vladislav Gavrikov, I have him going to the Boston Bruins. It's a little bit of like an off-the-board kind of pick, I think, because we haven't heard it connected a lot. But that Bruins team looks great in terms of their forward core. Pavel Zacha's having a good year as a depth piece. We know how good their high end is. I actually don't think they want to add another forward. Pasternak, Marchand, Hall, Coyle, Zacha, Bergeron, Krejci. They have 8 really good players in that kind of top 6, top 9. On the blue line, I think they could use just another option down there. They got some pieces they could maybe sacrifice in a deal as well. I like Gavrikov to Boston.
I have an interesting name to go with, a team to go with Gavrikov.
Okay.
What about Washington? I'm just thinking the Russian
if they could sign him.
Maybe he'll re-sign. We just spoke about how they have no defensemen signed for next season.
They don't.
Maybe get ahead of the game a little bit. They got about $3.5 million in cap space, I think I just read.
Seems like the kind of spot he'd sign in too, right? Like, and coming up, they have some good young Russians as well. The guy like Alexeyev, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting spot. I feel like Washington will want to do something. Same with Pittsburgh if they can figure out some money, which might be tough. But Washington's got a little bit of cap available.
I don't hate that one at all. Yeah, Tyler Mulick says DeBrusk will be back for the playoffs for Boston too. So boom, their top 9's full. I don't think they need a forward. And you got the Last Dance vibes, right? You don't want to leave that group without something at the deadline. So go get Gavrikov. Won't disrupt you at all. Can eat some hard minutes. Next up, Ivan Barbashev. I have him going to the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think they could use some depth. I think they're a team like the Oilers that wants to get a little bit harder to play against. He has a very manageable cap hit. I think Ivan Barbashev is a guy that fits in well. There would give him some size in their top 9.